So the primary expertise tier 5 village, which is I guess known a little bit as a meme among the community, is getting buffs, believe it or not. So this thing is now a lot stronger, and I know that no one uses its attack, at least not seriously. We are actually gonna try and beat Chimps mode by using, well, mainly the primary expertise as our main damage source. I gotta admit, we were a little bit ahead of our times when it comes to the primary expertise, because if you guys remember, we did, well, I was obviously not the first to do it, but a while back I actually did it 2 million pops with the primary expertise. And you can imagine my surprise seeing these new buffs, and I was like, wait, so do we do the exact same thing now, or do we do something different? Alright, so let me first walk you guys through what the buffs are. So we have a flat out damage increase from 190 to 270, so that is 80 plus damage being added to this thing. Keep in mind this bonus only applies to ceramics and Moab Class Bloons, but it is a lot of damage anyways. And then the other change is that it is a nerf. It attacks a little bit slower, went from 2.5 to 3 seconds, but overall this is a damage buff. So the previous DPS used to be 76 and now has 90 DPS. So yeah, about an 18-ish% more damage. So obviously if this thing was able to do like 2 million pops pre-nerf, it is, well, gonna be able to do it now. So I was thinking, let's just do it on a different map, because the first time that we did it, we actually did it on Cubism. I'm gonna link that video in the comments if you guys want to watch it, because it was a really fun one. And yes, a little bit of spoiler alert, the primary expertise can actually do 2 million pops. So it's a super expensive tower, but it is actually possible if you get it on time. So let's give it a little bit more of a run for its money per se. So this is a little bit of a shorter map. This is another brick, and this another brick map, you know, has a little bit of a curvature to it, which is something that the primary expertise attack doesn't like. The problem with the primary expertise projectile is that it doesn't like taking turns per se. So what this means is that essentially if there's like if it hits a balloon and there's a balloon next to it, it is not necessarily going to make the turn and seek out the balloon that's next to it. The seeking on the primary expertise attack is not as intense as something like, for example, the Never Miss, which actually got changed recently, and it's insane. And you know what, instead of explaining it to you guys, let me just buy a Never Miss anyways. Okay, so let me just have it like this. I want to have the village here on the left side, then I guess we can just have like an alchemist here. That's gonna be amazing. But first off, let's fix this round. So 28, we use the ability, and then we're gonna need to use it for 30, but there's a problem because 3 lets are gonna survive for the level 3 ability. I know this, by the way, because I've done this like a million times. So let's find a solution for this. So let's have the alchemist like this. Is it able to buff? Yes, it is to buff the ace, which is not a Never Miss yet, but let's use the, oh my god, that's not good, but we somehow popped the lead blues thanks to the ace projectiles, I guess. Okay, I'm gonna take it. Okay, so let me buy the Never Miss and let me explain to you guys what I'm talking about. So look at these projectiles. As soon as they hit a balloon, if there's a balloon next to them, they're just gonna automatically and instantly seek out the next balloon to them. But the primary expertise doesn't do that, and in fact it hates curves. And so maps like, for example, I guess well, this one not as much because there are some straight lines, right? But maps like, I don't know, like Spice Islands is the first one that comes to mind, or maybe something like Underground for the advanced maps. I don't think that those are good primary expertise maps, but maybe the new, maybe the new damage and the increased DPS are actually gonna help it out and make it a little bit better of a tower. And I guess we could do this Berserker Brew. Can we get the money for the perishing potions on this round? Yeah, I think we will. Just get rid of this Moab as soon as possible. And yeah, I'm just trying to kind of, speed run these early rounds, because the tower that we're trying to get to is a little bit, it is ways off, and it's also gonna destroy like everything pre-free play. So yeah, let's kind of just breeze through these rounds. We're gonna go for the primary training. Oh, so I was leaking a little of these camo balloons. Okay, so maybe we do something like this. Get the cleansing foam, have it set like this. We don't have camo on our plane, and I don't plan on buying it in the village because the primary expertise has innate camo. So let me get the primary mentoring, and this should be fine. And by the way, today is Christmas, so first off, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you guys. And if you're watching this from the future, it's not gonna be like a Christmas special type of video, but it is, we're kind of taking things a little bit slower today. So we know the primary expertise is gonna destroy the late game rounds, but it does actually get a little bit interesting when you enter like the free play rounds, and especially the 90s. Oh, let's just pick this one up with the abilities. It's gonna be fine, by the way. There's no way we lose on this one, is there? I mean, the swords are kind of holding the fort down at the back, and that was insane. Oh my god, those solid swords. Alright, so we actually did get the primary expertise on 57. This is, believe it or not, the exact same round to which I got it when I was doing the 2 million pops thingy with it a while back. Alright, so we finally get it done. So a little bit of slower attack apparently on the primary expertise. It's always been a slow attack, so I'm not sure how noticeable like an extra half a second is gonna be, but let's actually try and compensate for it a little bit. So first off, stronger stimulant. We might be able to see the extra damage here because it is one-shotting all of the Moabs, all of the ceramics, and it's gonna keep doing that, by the way, until the end of the game. And this is what makes it kind of a kind of a dark horse type of a tower for the ultra late game. I mean, it one-shots Moabs, and this goes for these ramped up Moabs as well, which is just insane. All right, so let's do a couple of things. Number one, buy the overclock, which is gonna compensate for the loss of attack spin. Then I want to watch the next 3 rounds, 75, 76, and 77. So 75, a bunch of balloons. Actually, this is gonna be probably the first round to which the balloons are gonna start making it a little bit here towards the right side, and I want to see the Seeking onto the primary expertise, but am I going to be right? Oh, look at this thing. So we're getting a little bit of Pierce overloading. Okay, so that's... Oh, look at this thing. It's actually going to leak. No, it's not going to leak. What is happening? This is insane. All right, this is like the second time that we're supposed to lose, but I guess the first time was Sala, and this time was just the primary expertise saving us. You know why that happened, by the way? It's because of the way that the balloons break out in BT6. So, for example, if you pop a rainbow, it's going to drop 2 zebras, and then 2 zebras are going to 1 white and 1 black balloon. So essentially from, if you look at the quantity of balloons, right, you went from like 1 into 4 balloons. And the reason why that's only a feature pre-free play is because after you reach free play, whenever you pop let's say you pop a ceramic, it's only going to spawn 1 rainbow, which is going to go into 1 zebra, which is going to go into 1 black or white balloon, and so on. And incidents like that one are going to be a little bit rarer, although you can get overwhelmed just by the sheer amount of balloons that you see on those rounds. But yeah, that was like a pre-free play feature, which we're hopefully not going to be seeing it too much later down the line. Yeah, there we go. We're holding on 79. This was like a coin toss of a round, but we seem to not be popping the balloons too much with Sada. That's the problem, by the way. It's Sada which is breaking all these guys apart. If they're only getting attacked by the primary expertise is one-shotting. It doesn't even care. Yeah, alright, so we get to the ZMG, and finally we are going into free play. Finally. Alright, so let's see how this thing does. Oh, getting a little bit closer again. That was the normal ZMG, by the way, so we might have to, go ahead with these utility towers, it seems like. Okay, so first off, let's overclock, and let's see how do we do with the overclock. Oh yeah, definitely. Alright, so 82, let's give it the overclock, and let's see how much of a difference this thing is gonna make. It is making all the difference, but we need to get it started with these utility towers, I feel like. Yes, because the balloons are making it all the way on the other side, and this is only 82, so it's only gonna get more difficult. Alright, so we're gonna have a bunch of small Moabs coming out, and so I know that we're gonna have a couple of support towers here up top, so might as well get a village for them, which is gonna be a camel village. The first tower that I'm gonna buy is just gonna be this thing, like a relentless glue, so keep it as a 024. I know that this is like an early purchase for the relentless glue, but I think that since we got our main damage source, I think that it's actually time, believe it or not, for these support towers. Okay, so let's see how we do now. Let's overclock it, and I hope that we're gonna be keeping all the balloons here inside of this little corner. That's gonna be ideal for us. We also get this straight line of attack, which is exactly what you want to see, and so far this thing is working as intended. I mean, just one-shotting ceramics, one-shotting, there you go, look at this thing go, one-shotting all blue Moabs, and it's gonna be like that until the end of the game. So yeah, very, very satisfied the way this thing is going. Okay, so let's see how we're gonna do on 85, because the Moab on 80, or I should say the ZMG on 80, made it a little bit farther than it should have. So let's overclock this time, and let's make sure that that doesn't happen again. And if we beat this one, then 87 is not gonna be much of a difference, I don't think. So we might as well just, yeah, I mean, this is just so much better than last time. There we go. We needed a couple of support towers, guys. That's basically it. Alright, so let's give it a little bit of a helping hand. This is a tower that we don't exactly buy that much, at least not lately, I want to say, because of this nerf that they got. But let's buy the final harmonica. Let's have the totem set, like, I guess like here in the corner is going to be completely fine, because the primary expertise doesn't care about obstacles. And let's see how much the final harmonic can actually contribute to this. We have a long ways to go, by the way, with the supporting setup, but let's just watch what happens. So I don't think that we're going to be one-shotting these fortified Moabs, but with the help of Sada, like if they're damaged a little bit, maybe we can get away with it as well. Okay, so let's see how we do versus DDTs. The overclock is conveniently ready just about now, so yeah, let's make sure we get rid of these guys. And then we're probably gonna need some stuff like, I don't know, like a Sabo for 95 and 99. Alright, so no 45 balloons on this one, so it's just gonna be pretty much one-shots across the board, although there's a little bit of a mess happening with these ceramics getting absorbed, and I don't think that that's gonna be an issue though. So let's, I wanted to get the call to arms as well, so might as well go for that first. Oh, and then look at this thing, so some of those ceramics are actually making it to the other side. Is that gonna be a problem? I don't think it is. So far we had a couple of rounds in which the ceramics are making it on the other side, but none of them have been an actual threat to us so far. But this one might be, because these are 45 mobs actually, so I think this is the right round to overclock and maybe just drop like a solid level 3 ability just to get rid of these small leftovers. If we can pop the ceramics and save a little bit of extra pierce for the primary expertise attack to go on to the Moab Class Bloons, that's gonna be ideal. Oh, and look at this thing, we're seeing some leaks, and there's a long ways to go to this round, but look at this thing, final harmonic, keeping everyone in place. That's very good. I think we actually have this one in the bag, and then let's make sure we don't use the overclock on this one. We save it for 93 because more DDTs, but yeah, we take this one down. That's very good. Alright, so new primary expertise. I mean, it is doing as expected, guys. It is doing its job, and we're compensating for the loss of attack speed. We're going to be getting the call to arms as well, so that's going to be even more. Oh, wait a minute, let me just overclock, make sure we're not one-shotting DDTs at this point, and I don't think this tower is like ever going to be allowed to one-shot DDTs, because that might be a little bit too OP, but we're like two-shotting them, so it's completely fine. So 94 is going to be an important round to pay attention to. It doesn't have any fortified Moabs, so I guess we're probably going to deal with this one no issue, but then 96, 98, those are going to be really important rounds, because that's when the 45 balloons start coming out. So let me do the overclock thingy, and let's see how we're doing now. So we got rid of the small balloons it seems like, but a lot of ZOMGs on this round, so let me just kind of try and play it a little bit slower, just pay attention to what's happening. ZOMGs are gone, but 95 is coming out. We do have the overclock. I bought the call to arms, so let's just chill for a second. Let's see if we're gonna be able to beat this round without using any abilities, and I can already see like a full DDT. Alright, let's overclock. Oh, that was super close at the end. The final harmonic is trying its best, guys. I mean, I can see a bunch of DDT just walking around in that circle, and is this gonna hold is the question. It's not looking like it is though. Alright, so let's combine abilities. Start with the overclock, and then once the overclock ends, I think we go, or it doesn't even have to end. If it just becomes a little bit tight at the back, I'm just gonna use the call to arms. So let's see how we're doing this time. This time it's a lot better for some reason. Like, what is happening? Was there some final harmonic attack cooldown shenanigans, or what is happening this time? Because we just defeated 95 with no issues. It was just the overclock. Alright, I'm just gonna take it. It's fine. Alright, now this one is gonna be a little problematic round because look, this is where we actually need the extra damage, but again, it was still a 2-shot right onto the 45 Moabs before, so it's not like this extra damage changes things too much. I don't know, let me use the call to arms. We're using it, by the way, for the extra attack speed, so yeah, let's get some attack speed going with the call to arms, and then once the buff is over, we're gonna overclock. Yeah, this is so much better, like having 2 of these abilities, and I think it ran out, so let's just overclock now, just keep using these abilities off cooldown. That's a lot of ZOMGs though. I mean, this thing is taking its time defeating the ZOMGs. Yeah, I feel like maybe 98 is gonna be problematic, not because of the 45 balloons, but just because there are gonna be way too many balloons for this thing to handle at once. So one of the things that we're definitely gonna need is a spike storm. So I'm just gonna buy one of these guys right now, then we're gonna see what happens. But 45 ZOMGs, I think it's only 2 of these guys, so the final harmonic is just gonna keep absorbing them. But yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about 98, guys. I don't feel as good as 98 as I did before I started this thing. Alright, so here it comes. So let's do it like this. I think we start with the overclock and the call to arms together. We do as much damage as possible, and I'm gonna throw in a solid level 3 ability in there just to do a little bit of extra damage. Okay, so let's try and get rid of these guys as fast as possible. I want to deal with the 45 BFBs and their leftovers first, and then we're gonna see what happens to the ZOMGs. There's like a million ZOMGs in there anyways, and all the buffs expire, so this is a very dangerous time. So we're gonna basically need the final harmonic and the stalls to go at it until we get some of the cooldowns back. They're actually doing the job. I'm gonna do another level 3 Sada ability, by the way. The swords are just tickling these balloons at this point, and I think we're gonna need the level 10 from Sada soon-ish. Oh, this is getting a little bit close. I'm just gonna use it anyways. The overclock is just it's barely about to come off cooldown. That was a very good snipe. Let's get the overclock going right now. Oh my god, this is not gonna be enough though. We got the overclock up, but this at what cost? This is not gonna be enough. It's still gonna lose though. It's very close. It's barely surviving, but no. Alright, you know what? I guess we can try to do a more press boomerang, although I'm not sure how effective this thing is gonna be because from what I'm gathering, like we're popping these ZOMGs super fast anyway, so yeah. I don't know, I'm just gonna give it a shot anyway. So again, I used both of the abilities, overclock and call to arms, but 98 is proving to be such a tricky round. What is happening with this one? And also, like, look at the projectile from the primary expertise. It doesn't work like the never miss ace does. It just doesn't want to take the turn, it seems like. Yeah, so finally, let's get the more press going. You know what? I'm even gonna dump this thing if it does anything like a single spike. I don't know, guys. Like, this projectile from the primary expertise is not exactly cooperating, is what I'm noticing, because whenever it hits like this wall, it just disappears, or just like that, it just goes straight off into I guess the unknown. I don't know why it's doing that, but yeah, this is an absolutely terrible map for the primary expertise. And by the way, the exact reason why I chose it, but yeah, we're just struggling on this round. It seems like the primary expertise is just not doing it. All right, so let me actually try something else. Let me use the overclock. The way that we're doing it, just like this point, let me use the spike storm, just get some damage going. I'm gonna save the level 10 ability for some ceramics and the call to arms just for a rainy day. But the idea that I have is this. Let me get something like this, a 032 glue. And so the idea that I have with this one is I'm just noticing what's happening on these rounds, and with the lack of attack speed, we're getting overwhelmed by these guys, by just a bunch of ceramics is what I'm noticing. So hopefully this glue can help, like, just stop these ceramics for a second and just buy a little bit of extra time for the primary expertise attack to kind of clean them out. And how is it looking so far? I mean, I do have the call to arms, so might as well use it. You know what? I'm gonna use everything now, right now. Just go all out. Let's just make sure we do damage. We're getting a lot of stalls, by the way, in the balloons at the back, and let's just go with Sawdust's ability as well. I see the spike storm ready. Is the glue actually gonna make this thing work? That's insane. I mean, let me not jinx it because the abilities are about to run off, but I think yes, this was it. All right, it's just getting overwhelmed by a bunch of ceramics and small balloons, it looks like. All right, so hopefully now the mermonkey and the totem can keep these ETs in place, because otherwise it's not looking good. Let me use Sada's abilities. Oh my god, no way. Let's actually do this. Let's remove the totem, and I think maybe we can play around with the totem a little bit. So for example, if the deity escapes, we can kind of use it here towards the back, just like this. So maybe have the totem roam around in a circle like that, and just absorb a lot of these guys. Use Sada's level 3 ability, and is this gonna be enough? Did I actually catch these guys with the totem? That's insane. Wow, that was really good. Alright, finally, we are at the bat. Alright, so let's use everything that we have. Overclock, Call to Arms. Let me get the Spike Storm going, and I feel like for some reason this is probably not gonna be the most difficult of rounds, but let me not jinx it. Finally, we get the pop on the Bad Bloon, and that's really good. Alright, so we're gonna get another round of abilities. It seems like which is gonna be really important because these guys are about to leave. Alright, so let's use everything that we have. Let me drop a Spike Storm as soon as possible. I'm also gonna drop some Sada abilities, and I'm gonna use the level 10 right now. It has 2 swipes, which is gonna be super important. And yes, finally, we get it done. Alright, that's the problem with the primary expertise, right? It doesn't like maps with bends, and especially if the bend is like super, like, you know, tight, it's happening instantly. It's just the projectile is just not gonna take the turn, and that's about it. You're gonna lose out on a lot of damage. Yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'm gonna see you on the next one.